back with another episode of Health and Wellness Tips for you. This episode will deal with a very important topic, one that we don't consider during our everyday lives. The topic is why dreaming is so important. For this episode, we will like to acknowledge healthline.com. So, dreaming. And this is not the type of dreaming like dreaming if you wish on something. This is actually dreams that you may have during the sleep state. It's an interesting topic to consider because science is starting to find out so much more about why dreams are important, what they might signify, what they might not signify, when we have dreams, during what sleep state, and so on and so forth. So I wanted to share with you a little bit of that fascinating information because dreams can also be really good therapy. Dreams can also be messages that you might wish to consider and maybe even take to heart during your everyday life experience. So, dreams happen to be the strongest when we are in REM sleep, or the rapid eye movement stage. Much is known about the role of sleep in regulating our metabolism, blood pressure, brain function, and other aspects of health, but it's been harder for researchers to explain the role of dreams. And science can really look at that in depth, and they're starting to, as I said before, more and more these days. But I don't know if science will ever have the entire full picture of dreams, because I also think dreams deal with another part of ourselves, maybe our spiritual parts of ourselves, maybe our faith parts of ourselves. They have a lot to do in other aspects of our being, not only scientific or physical. So there's no definitive proof, but dreams are usually, it is said, to be autobiographical thoughts based on our recent activities, conversations, or other issues that we might be dealing with or thinking about dealing with in the near future. They're another level or aspect of those thoughts, of that type of energy. Your dreams may also be ways of confronting emotional dramas in your life, things that you're going to have to address in the near future. But your dreams may already have you in the position of addressing those issues, because your brain is operating at a much more emotional level than when you're awake. Your brain may make connections regarding your feelings that your conscious self, your awake self, won't or wouldn't think of making. One theory for why we dream is that it helps facilitate our creative tendencies. And that's interesting because I never considered that possibility before. I don't know if you have. Your dreams might well be your creative muse, so to speak. Artists of all kinds credit dreams with inspiring some of their most creative work. If you look at the lives of many classical music composers, of many genius film makers, of many incredible painters from yesterday as well as today, you'll often find that they will say that they got the inspiration for this opera, for this ballet, for this symphony, for this piano concerto, for this painting, for this fashion design during their sleep. It was given to them in a dream. So think about that. How is that possible? And how does that work? And what is really operative here? Those are things, maybe based on your personal beliefs, that you can either explain or not. And this might be one of the reasons why science can't totally get there, because I think dreams are a multi-dimensional experience, and not only kind of like a linear experience. You may have awakened at times in your life with a great idea for a recipe, for a movie, for a song, for a way of addressing somebody or a certain situation. One widely held theory about the purpose of dreams is that they help you store important memories and things you've learned. They also may help you get rid of unimportant memories and sort through complicated thoughts and feelings. Research shows that sleep helps store memories. And that's very interesting when you consider that sleep helps store memories. If you learn new information and sleep on it, you'll be able to recall it better than if asked to remember that information without the benefit of sleep. That stands to reason. How dreams affect memory storage and recall isn't clearly understood yet. But dreams may indeed help the brain more efficiently store important information while blocking out stimuli that could interfere with memory and learning. One of the biggest influences on dreams is how much or how little we happen to be sleeping. Being sleep deprived for a night or two or more can make parts of your brain much more active when you finally do slip into deep REM sleep. You're likely to have more vivid dreams if you've had some restless nights. You're also more likely to recall those dreams too. Mental health disorders such as depression and anxiety, as well as bipolar disorders and other mood-related emotional sometimes conditions, can trigger intense and sometimes disturbing or negative dreams and nightmares. That's kind of where your brain considers the most extreme of solutions, of possibilities, of certain issues that you might be facing during your wake hours. The medications for some of those conditions that we just mentioned, including antidepressants and antipsychotics, are also associated with a higher risk of nightmares. There isn't indisputable evidence that certain foods lead to wilder or better dreams, but it's clear that some foods may set the stage for you to remember your dreams better. High carb foods, for example, can give you quick energy, but after a while, they ultimately, in many cases, end up leaving you feeling down, lack of energy. Anything that affects your waking mood is likely to affect your unconscious mood too. So if a sugar crash has you moping around during the day, it would stand to reason that those same feelings, that same state, that same condition, that same energy would carry over into your sleep and dream state. Also, there are certain foods that you might be aware of that tend to keep you up throughout the night and may result in you waking more frequently in the REM stage. When that happens, you'll probably remember more of your dreams. Just as little or interrupted sleep often results in more vivid dreaming, a good night's sleep will cut down on the intense dreams that you'll recall. A small study once found that one good way to sleep more soundly is to exercise in the morning. A good run, a good long walk, or other cardio workout options before noon, science is starting to say, will help you set your clock so that you're more inclined to fall asleep faster, spend more time in deep sleep than if you didn't exercise or if you exercised at night, as many people do. Runners and other serious fitness enthusiasts tend to spend less time in dreamy REM sleep, which is one of the lightest stages of sleep. It can be. Also, the more effectively you can de-stress during the day, the less likely, of course, you will bring stress and anxiety to bed with you. That too should help cut down on nightmares and interrupted sleep when you try to sleep. 2 ways to help recall your dreams is to tell yourself as you're falling asleep that you want to remember your dream. This works very well for me. You know, those moments right before we're going to fall asleep. And sometimes it's difficult to be aware of when you're in those moments because you're inviting sleep to you and you tend to go with it. But if you can be aware of when you're just about to fall asleep, when you're really getting tired and that restful, tell yourself, within yourself, you don't need to say it out loud, I would like to remember dreams that I will have tonight once I wake up in the morning. And if you try that once and it doesn't happen, and if you try that another time, a second time, and it doesn't happen, if you try it a third time and you don't remember your dreams when you wake up, don't give up. It's like developing a new muscle. You have to do this with yourself, for yourself, within yourself a number of times. And then your brain, your body will go, oh, okay, that's what you mean. Let's do that. And it won't happen every night, but the nights that it does happen and you do wake up remembering your dreams, that could be a big benefit to you. If that's your last thought, which is or would be, I want to remember my dreams when I wake up, you may be more likely to wake up with a dream still somewhat fresh in your memory. Now, when you do wake up and you find yourself remembering a dream or some aspect of a dream you had, write it down right away. I make this mistake all the time where I tell myself once I've woken up and I do remember a part of a dream even, I'll say to myself, oh, okay, I'm going to have breakfast. I'm going to get up. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'll write it down later. Well, you know what'll happen then, right? 2 minutes after you wake up and you haven't written it down, you end up forgetting it. So keep some paper and pen by your bed. And if you ask to remember a dream, then do yourself a favor and write it down when you do remember it. Here's what worked for me. I'll give you a specific instance. I lost my parents very tragically about 9.5 years ago. They were here one day and they were gone the next. And 2 weeks after their passing, of course, as you can imagine, I was distraught. I was very, very close with them as they were to me. And so I didn't ask for a dream, although I do remember saying to myself often, if you're still around, let me know. But I didn't know that it would come in a dream, and it did. One morning I woke up having clearly remembered that there was this dream where my mother walked across the driveway of a house we used to live in when I was growing up. And she looked just like she did then. And I was standing in the driveway, not really sure why I was there. And all of a sudden, I see my mother walking across another part of the driveway, and she didn't see me. And I looked at her and I said, Mom, are you okay? And I asked this because of the way my parents passed. And she looked at me and then she recognized me and she went, oh. And I said, Mom, are you okay? And she looked at me like this and she said, yes. And then, without saying another word, she looked at where she was walking towards when I had first seen her, and she continued to walk there, and she was gone. So, did I imagine that during my sleep state? Well, maybe, Was it a dream during my sleep state? Yes. Was it a message from my mother letting me know that everything was okay? I believe that to be so. You don't have to, but I did and still do, and that helps during the grieving process, even though that was 9 to 10 years ago. The fact that I had that dream really helps me to this day. So that's also why dreams are so very, very important. They could possibly be a healing tool that you can ask for and that will work with you in the name of healing. So that about does it. I think you might have a better understanding after this of how very important dreams can be. So dream well, rest well, ask for help in your dreams if you need that, and see if you can remember what you have received in the morning. Ask, and it's very likely that you very well might receive. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you resonated with it, please give the video a like. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date with all the motivation I will continue to share with you. Thank you.